Hello, it's another Tuesday. That means it's Tuesday Tips Live here in the Digital DJ Tips studio with me, Phil Morse. Welcome. Great to be here as ever. And this is a live show on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch, which means that you can get involved and I'd love you to. So please do chat in the comments and I will pull some of your comments up on my screen and we'll chat about our subject matter today in a bit. But if you are catching the recording of this and thinking this isn't a 5-minute YouTube how-to video, it's because you're watching the recording of a show. And it would be great if you could have been with us live. And the way to do that, of course, is to make sure you're subscribed and you're getting notified when we go live. Right, okay, let's talk about today's subject. And it's a bit of a rant, really, today, based upon some kind of tough love that we do give out a few times a year to our audience. So you are going to enjoy this if you've never been here before, but if you have been here before and you've been round the block with us on this one before now, then you're going to be nodding away and you're going to be like, yep, I know where we're going here. And it's something that gets asked to us a lot and it comes up in all kinds of ways. So it could be like this. I have learned to DJ on my copy of Virtual DJ and my controller, and now someone's asked me to DJ on some Pioneer gear and I can't do it. Or it could be, I've never used vinyl and so I'm not a real DJ and I don't think I can learn to use vinyl. It could be, I really want to play a gig, but until I've got a, I don't know, DDJ 1000 SRT, lovely controller by the way. Thank you Pioneer DJ for lending me this literally on short notice because I'm in the middle of filming a course and ours was broken. Thanks guys. Yeah, until I get this, I can't start playing gigs because my controller hasn't got, I don't know, the dub echo on it and I really need the dub echo. All DJs use that, right? So it comes in all shapes and forms, this particular question. Or it could be, oh, I bought one of your courses, but I can't use it because I use DJ Pro AI and most of your lessons are not on that or something like that, right? So this is a massive misconception about DJing, and honestly, it's not helped by some people out there who try to do what I'm about to say when they shouldn't, and they should know better, and it's this. DJing is different from the gear that you use. You do not have to learn to use this or this or, get ready for me to flex my muscles, this or any of the other fantastic DJ systems out there, or this, whatever. You do not have to learn to use record decks or CDJs or the Rain 4 or the Rain 1 or the Pioneer DDJ Flex 4 or the insert controller here. You do not have to do that because these things, pretty and flashy as they are, they're just dumb boxes with knobs and buttons on them. That's all they are. It's like someone saying, learn to drive in a Toyota Prius or a Tesla, and you thinking, that's the car I want to drive for the rest of my life, so I better go with that driving school. You're not learning the Tesla or the Prius, you're learning the driving. And DJing is 4 things. And let me tell you, every single piece of gear out there can do these 4 things. It is 2 sources of music as a minimum, where you can alter the speed of that music. 2 sources. It is a way of mixing between those 2 sources. It is a way of hearing one of those sources independently from the other one, if you want to. And it's a way of playing what you choose to the audience. If you've got those 4 things, 2 sources of music where you can vary the speed, a way of blending between them, a way of playing that music to the audience, and a way of listening on your headphones to the other music source, to the one that the audience is hearing independently, Gear-wise, you've got everything you need to start DJing. Now, modern DJ gear starts to add things in, and of course, we're a digital DJ school. We do teach other things. We teach cues, and we teach loops, and we teach effects, and we teach EQ, etc. But guess what? All modern DJ systems have those as well. And so, when you want to learn this game, instead of thinking, I want to learn to DJ with the insert DJ gear here, what you should be thinking is, I want to learn the skills of DJing so I can DJ on anything. Now look, in our Facebook group at the moment, and on our Instagram channel, we're talking about what separates amateurs from professionals. And one of the things that comes out a lot in that discussion is professionals can play on any gear. And amateurs, and actually I think it's unfair to call amateurs out for this, absolute beginners can't. An absolute beginner, and I get it totally. An absolute beginner will grab their controller. Let's just pick up another one because we've got so blinking many of them here. An absolute beginner will grab their Numark NS4FX and say, right, look, it's taken me 2 days to figure out how to get the effects to work when I press that. There's no way I'm going to now switch and try and use something else because it's taken me forever to get this far, right? I get it. Things take half a day when they should take half a minute when you're an absolute beginner, and you really just want to get past the basics on one piece of kit, right? Maybe you don't even want to turn your computer off, because if you turn it on again, it might not be how you left it, and you're like, that is absolute beginner, understandable nerves. Everything's hard, but it doesn't take very long to get past that. So unless you're an absolute beginner, you can use pretty much anything without any fuss, any gear that's out there. And that carries on all the way through to professionals who, by the way, pretty much all professionals will walk up to what I've got here and DJ without a second thought. One other thing that separates amateurs from professionals is amateurs and hobby DJs fuss about their gear. Professionals don't. They just want to get the job done. So pretty much every professional will walk up to gear like this and just be able to do it because it's the industry standard. And that stays the same until you get right to the very, very top of the professional DJ world, where people are now, it's like a classical violinist wanting their own violin, right? Or a Stravinsky at the very minimum, right? When you get to the James Hypes of this world, James of course being one of our tutors, and to the very best performance DJs, then it starts to become quite important again to have exactly the gear that you expect, because you're pushing it to the absolute limit. Back to our example of learning to drive, right? It doesn't matter what car you learn to drive in, and no driving school is going to say, learn to drive in a insert model here. It's rubbish. Any model will do. Until you get to the Formula One track. And at that point, it starts to matter again, right? So yeah, fair enough. But that isn't most of us. Most of us are bang happy in the middle. And actually, I think it's important to be happy to learn on anything. And so, really, when you look at the big group of people in the middle, most of us, like we've been DJing a little while, but we're not pushing our gear so far to the limit that if this knob happens to be an inch further that way, then we can't do it because our muscle memory needs it there, right? This is James, looking at you, mate. James is so particular about his gear. He has a rider and he just won't play unless it's exactly how he asks for it. But James pushes gear to the limit, right? Everyone else in the middle, there's basically three types of us in the middle. They are the DJs who just pick their gear and they're happy, right? So you've got one of these. This is as close as you get actually to an industry standard at the moment. The DDJ 1000s. They're just pretty much everywhere, right? You get your DJ gear, you're happy, right? That's you, sorted. Don't think about it anymore. You're good. And it could be a Prime 4, could be whatever. You've got your gear, you're happy. The second group of DJs in the middle are the ones who deliberately switch their gear about just for fun. I love DJ gear. I love the idea of just like getting new gear all the time. Here's looking at you, Michael, one of our students who's a self-confessed gear acquisition syndrome, gas guy. Just love buying new gear. The more new gear, the better. Give it to me. I want to play with it. I want to see what it feels like. I want to set it up with all my other gear. That's fine, because part of the fun of being a DJ is the gear. It's the hobby of what can the gear do? What can I do differently on it? But the DJing is independent of that love. That love of DJ gear, that geekiness, is not the same as the DJing. It's a great part of the job, if it is a job, or the hobby if it's just a hobby, but it's not important. And that's why I say, you know, the third kind of person is the ones who maybe play out a bit, and so therefore this is what they use, and that's just it. That's what they do. No more thinking about it. But the point is, a professional DJ will be happy, maybe not happy, but will certainly be capable of playing on anything. There's one little caveat here. I've already given you the first one, which is the absolute pinnacle of skills might want exactly the right gear so that they can do the tricks that all of us just go, how did you do that? But that's the top 1%. The other thing is software, right? So software is something which is where the real power is. Like I say, these are dumb boxes. These just plug into your computer and have got flashing lights on them. The software is where all the clever stuff happens. And so I'm teaching a Serato course at the moment. And look, all the software is different, because the software manufacturers can innovate very, very quickly. They can put in Serato Flip, which is something I was just teaching today actually, where you can record your cue points and play them back. They can put in the stems stuff. They can put in key shifting and stuff. And this like changes quite quickly. They can put video in and so on. This changes quite quickly and it's fun. And all the software does differ. So it is worth learning your software. And actually it's why here at Digital DJ Tips we don't go down the route of saying here's a course for the, I don't know, the DDJ 1000, here's a course for the Flex 4. We actually tried it once with the hardware. We tried it with the DDJ 1000 because they're very popular, but our audience know better. They just know that, you know, at the end of the day, DJing's DJing. So with software it's a little bit different. With software you really ought to learn your software, because it's one of the best ways of becoming a better DJ without even touching your controls, just to know how your software works. Because software is cool, software does cool stuff, but it's still, even then, separate from DJing. All the DJ software can give you 2 virtual decks that play your music. There they are in Serato, left and right. 2 ways of altering the speed and 2 ways of listening to each deck in your headphones and in your speakers. And so really, the point of my rant today is just to reassure you, if you're worried that you're learning on Traktor, but maybe you want to switch to Rekordbox, or you've bought yourself a Flex 4, but you've heard that really you should be learning on Denon gear, or you are knowing that one day you're going to want to play on Pro CDJs, but at the moment the software you're using isn't compatible with them, so is it going to be hard to switch? The point I want to, unless I buy gear like this, I'm not going to really be a proper DJ, and I might as well not try. DJing involves 4 things: 2 sources of music where the speed can be changed, the ability to mix between them, and the ability to put your headphones on and hear one of those sources of music while the audience is hearing the other, if you need to. And as long as you can find that, honestly, you can DJ on your phone, and there are apps that will let you do it on there. So that actually brings me, and by the way, I'm going to open the chat and chat to you about whether how important it really is, what gear you learn on and what software you use, and that we'll talk about that in a minute. But it does bring me kind of cleverly to the other thing I needed to talk to you about today, which is that we had a really cool competition, well, a prize draw last week. We were giving away this. This is a Allen Heath Zone K2 interface and MIDI controller, and a 6-month license to Beatport Pro, which will give you Beatport streaming inside the Beatport DJ app. And the reason this is cool is that the Beatport DJ app works on any browser, or rather any Chrome browser running on any computer. So you open Chrome and you go to dj.beatport.com, and there's a DJ app there with all the stuff you'd expect in a DJ app. And you can use it even on a Chromebook, which can't run software. You can DJ there. And this combo of the Allen Heath audio interface and MIDI controller with that lovely overlay you can see with the Beatport logo on that tells you what all the buttons do, and that software is a really cool way of preparing your playlists inside Beatport, listening to music, auditioning charts in Beatport. You can DJ with the songs instead of just listening to them. It's a really nice combination. Guess what? Utterly non-standard. Utterly non-standard. Doesn't work with any of this stuff. Doesn't work with any of this stuff. Who cares? Because we're all DJs, and DJing's the same whatever you use. Because guess what? This has got 2 decks that you can mix independently. different outputs for headphones and speakers, and a way of you blending everything together to make it sound nice. In other words, it's got all you need to DJ on it, just like a pair of record decks and an old-fashioned mixer does. And by the way, my old mixer, this is what I learned on. This has got so few controls on it that it's just laughable. If you want to quickly turn the tracks on and off, you used to use the line phono switch there. It's only got 2-band EQ. It is utterly, utterly basic. And guess what? This is a Technics official World DJ Championship mixer. That and 2 turntables can do about 1/100th of what any DJ app on your phone can do. And yes, of course, you can DJ fine on it. So do not get hung up about your gear. Do not get hung up about whether what you've got is right. And also, if you are someone who buys one of our courses and says, well, you're not using my combination of software and hardware, I can't learn from this. You can learn from it because we don't teach on software and hardware, we teach DJing. And we show you on all kinds of stuff. We tend to stick to Rekordbox and Serato because between them, they cover 75 to 80% of our audience. We then do a bit on Traktor and a bit on Virtual DJ because that's another 20%. You know, so we just go with where the audience is on that stuff, but always aware that it doesn't matter what you're using. Right, anyway, back to what we were talking about here. This here is a fantastic little non-standard DJ setup, and it has really caught your imagination when we were talking about it last week. And lots of you entered our little prize draw, which we had to win this. And we in fact had 2 to give away. So we are ready to tell you who's won. So are you ready for a drum roll? I really do need a drum roll sound effect, but I don't have one. Our winners are Robert Boogard, who is in the Netherlands. Well done, Robert. And our second winner is BC Brandon in Canada. BC Brandon in Canada. Robert and BC, you have won a Allen Heath Zone K2 audio interface and MIDI controller with a cool overlay that means that you can see what all the controls do inside the Beatport DJ app, which runs in your browser, and you've got 6 months Beatport Pro membership as well, so you can use Beatport and stream into that app and use all the features of it for a whole 6 months. So well done. Great to hear. I just had a controller fall on my knee there, so that's why I kind of disappeared down there. Right. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Just clear up that question. Learn DJing, don't learn equipment. Equipment changes, breaks, change, you know, you change your mind, you sell it, get something else. It's all DJing. With the caveat that you probably stick to your software if you can. We always say changing software is like moving house or getting divorced and remarried. You can do it, but only if you have to. Right, let's go to you guys and girls. Let's have a chat. See what you got to say. This first comment then is from CJ. Hi CJ, I've been using Denon DJ for the first time for a few weeks. I'm impressed with it. It's a lot more powerful than Serato. Yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff on it. You're right there, CJ. Thanks for the comment. And I bet you're still DJing, right? I bet you're still mixing one record into the other. I bet you're still playing because it's not about the gear. Right, this is from Max on Twitch. I started DJing with just an iPad, running DJ Pro and a portable battery-powered speaker. And people loved it. I had regulars coming every week, playing in the park. It was so much fun. Well, there we go, you see. Here's a really, really good point. And I wanted to make this point and I didn't. And this is why I love you guys, because you'll always pull me up on things that I miss. This is a really good point. So let's make it clear. And I'll do the old serious go to the main camera. You got to learn the craft. You've got to learn at least how to manually beat mix your songs. Yes, you're going to be using the sync button. You'd be mad if you didn't use the sync button. But you can't rely on the aids that are built into DJ gear because they're not always there. So it is important to learn how to do it, because if you don't learn how to do it, then you can't go from this to this to this to whatever, because it will not have the same teaching aids and the same beat grids and the same sync buttons and stuff that you're used to, and then you'll be stuck. So while you certainly shouldn't get hung up trying to learn, say, sync, which is the big one, because yes, it's important, but no, it shouldn't stop you learning the other things. you should definitely learn it in the end, because that's what sets you free. That's what means that you can, to go back to my question at the beginning, I've never used vinyl and I don't think I can use vinyl. Yes, you can, but you got to know how to manually beat mix. No sync button on turntables, right? So yeah, thank you very, very much, DJ Neuro, for pulling me up on that one. Cool. So Jarrett says, having a Rain 4 under the desk, that's what I call understatement. Honestly, this studio, it's crazy. It's honestly crazy. Look, we've got and this is a heavy one. We've got a Rev 7 there. I've just been teaching on this today. This is heavy because it's got motorized platters on it. Yep. One of the joys of being a DJ school, getting to play with all the gear, but it doesn't make you a better DJ. It just makes you a DJ that knows about all the gear. Not that I'm complaining, but there is a difference. Right, okay, let's grab a couple of other comments on this. This is from Pri. Oh, I love this, Pri. Thank you. Pri's one of our tutors, does a lot of the teaching inside our Digital DJ Lab subscription program. Gatekeepers are just folks who stopped growing and who want to keep you from growing. It's very true. It's true. Don't listen to any discouragement because that's exactly what these people are. You don't like my music is saying dumb boxes, lol. Well, a few of you have said that, but you don't like my music says, aside from the sound card, there's not much technology inside controllers. While we're talking tech, it's probably worth mentioning this. You're right, there are two things in controllers. A controller is, honestly, this controller you're looking at here, and there's absolutely no word of a lie here, the controller you're looking at here is doing the job of this. It's doing the job of a keyboard and mouse. It's letting you navigate around your DJ software in a way that is more fun than when you try and do it with the keyboard and mouse. But you can navigate around your DJ software with a keyboard and mouse. In fact, if you want to DJ with just your laptop, you can do that. And this thing here is just making it feel more like DJing, apart from the fact that this also has what's called a 4-out audio interface in it as a minimum. And a 4-out audio interface lets you have 4 outputs. And by the way, it doesn't have to be a big controller like that. It can be a little baby controller like this. They've all got 4-out audio interfaces in them, which gives you 2 outputs for your headphones, left and right, and 2 outputs for your speakers, left and right. 4 out, that's what that means. And so that's what gives you that thing that I said is a non-negotiable when you're DJing, the ability to listen to 2 music sources at once. And that's the only other thing in most DJ controllers. Yes, they might have a couple of screens and other fancy stuff, but ultimately they are not doing any of the work. You're doing the work and the software is aiding you. The controller is just what you touch and look at. And also what makes those 4 different outputs come out. So thank you, Pri, for that one. No, it wasn't Pri, actually, was it? It was You Don't Like My Music was talking about that. Right, what else are we saying about the fact that it doesn't matter what gear you learn on and you should be able to switch gear, etc., etc. This is from Vnas86 over on Twitch. Vnas says, I had a DDJ Flex 6 and I really didn't like it. I've got an SC Live 4 now, and while it's a different and a whole different DJ world opened up for me, I enjoy it a lot more now and DJing more every week than I did before. Well, that's awesome. Glad to hear that. Speaking of the Flex controllers, by the way, we were talking about this in the office today. This is the Pioneer DJ DDJ Flex 4, very popular controller at the moment. And what Pioneer DJ is starting to realize, which I love, by the way, is that people don't care what box they're using, they care more about their software. So this comes with Recordbox, works with Serato DJ Lite. It's got sockets on the back, that means you can plug it into your phone as well as to your tablet, so you can use it with DJ Pro on iOS, and Recordbox are going to have an iOS app as well. So it's in the name, Flex. It's equipment, flexible equipment. DJ gear is becoming more and more commoditized. It all does the same thing. And so really, even the manufacturers are starting to realize that the more compatible they can make their gear with everything, the better, because we've kind of figured it out, right? So yeah. Right, let's grab another live comment. This is from The Ruckus, who says, look at the Digital DJ Tips Mixing Power Skills or Mobile DJ Mixing course. You'll gain an appreciation for the sync button. Oh, right, okay, let's talk about this for a second. So in our DJ courses, we teach DJing in 3 big sections when it comes to mixing, when it comes to specifically mixing. Section 1 is all about the very, very basics. The 4 things I told you about. Altering the speed of tunes, monitoring them on your headphones, making sure you know what's going out to the audience and blending those things together successfully. Stuff you could do on turntables and my old-fashioned mixer. 2 is the stuff that all digital systems, no matter what you've got, even your phone or your iPad, bring you that are new. Cues, loops, key mixing, having all your library with you, waveforms, etc., right? So it kind of brings you up to date, but we do make that distinction between the basic skills of DJing and the digital ones. And the 3rd thing we teach is the applications of that, where you're going to use these skills. And actually that's where our mobile DJ course comes in. So we've got a course called Mixing for Mobile and Wedding DJs. It's a good time to talk about it because I think it's about to stop being on offer. We've had it on offer for a couple of weeks. So if you head over to the Digital DJ Tips website, digitaldjtips.com, click on the blog at the top and go down to Mixing for Mobile and Wedding DJs, or just go to the homepage and scroll down until you find Mixing for Mobile and Wedding DJs, which is the first one in the mixing courses section. You'll learn all about this course. It's currently $100 off, but only literally, I think, till Thursday morning. There you go. 1 day and 17 hours left on this offer. So this course here is a good example of the 3rd stage, really, of how we teach. So this is how to apply the basic skills of DJing, and we don't care what gear you use, and this course uses all kinds of gear, how to apply that to a specific use case. And in this case, it is mixing for mobile and wedding events. And indeed any event where you want to play radio versions of the biggest records ever made, right? The biggest pop, hip hop, dance, oldies, and so on. And so we teach all these things, but we don't care what gear you're using. We do not care. But we do care that you have the basic stuff that all digital DJ gear has. Sync, cues, loops, key changing, and so on. So this is a really good example of we couldn't give a monkey's what gear you're using. We teach on all 4 main platforms inside that course. So thank you for that, the Ruckus. Right, what else have we got to share from the audience? This is from John on Facebook. I started off digital DJing on just a keyboard and a mouse, and then I got a cheap small controller, and then I moved up. But at the end of the day, they all do the same. It's a bit like a camera. You can take good photos whatever the camera. They often say with cameras that the best camera is the one you've got with you. I'd say the best DJ gear is the DJ gear that you've just been asked to play a gig on, right? Just get on with it. I do have a story once about, I said earlier that some pro DJs, they might not be happy playing on anything, but they will. I had a DJ, a very well-known DJ who I'm not going to name, who turned up to play at the club where I DJ'd one night. I was playing before him, and the club was popping. The club was really, it always did, it was a great club. Club was really bouncing off the walls. We were having a great time. And he turned up at 4 or 5 in the morning, back in the days of records, and he had his records, and the monitor speaker had blown. The monitor speaker had literally blown up. We had no monitor, and I was monitoring. Back in the days of vinyl, the way you would do it if you had no monitor was you'd mix in your headphones, and then you'd just give a half turn on the spindle of the track, and that would kind of like make up for the difference in the sound from the speakers over there reaching your ear, and that would make it sound out of time in the DJ booth, but on time on the dance floor. We were just getting on with it, and we'd handled it. He turned up and took one look and said, "I'm not DJing without a monitor." And we're like, hands up, we can't do anything about that. Sorry, sorry, we can't change it. It is what it is. And I just got my head down and carried on playing. And about 10 minutes later, he came in and went, "I might just give it a go," and had the time of his life. So there's just a story that he might have been a bit uppity about it, but in the end, professionalism won out, and the guy, and he did a fantastic job, as I say, will remain unnamed. Right, so this one is from DJ Majestic Eclectic, who says, after switching controllers a few times, I found the one for me. I did learn things from each controller I played on, but none of it made me a better DJ. Excellent. It's exactly our sentiment there as well. I only use iPad and Algorithms DJ Pro AI, says Mike on Facebook, and I'm happy. I DJ on Mixcloud and on my local community radio station. And that's me. And I love it. Thank you very much. When you have learned on a foul Ranger from the 70s, you can learn on anything, says Vic on YouTube. Thank you very much. Cool. And George says, someone correct me if this is weird, but I've never bothered with the sync button on Serato because with a lot of files, it gets it wrong anyway because they're older tracks. So I just count. Well, look, DJing is definitely something that doesn't need the sync button. And of course, if you're DJing on vinyl, then you ain't got that choice. DJams, my man, hello, not seen you for a while. I hope you're well over there on Facebook. Right, I think we're probably done here. Jam Master D says, I started mixing on cassette decks, then turntables. It's not the gear, it's you. We've been talking about why you can DJ on any gear today and why it really doesn't matter. You don't need to go and look for someone to teach you to DJ on, insert what you just bought here, because it's all the same. And if you can't make that little leap, you know, when we say, put a cue point here, of finding out how to do it on your system, you just need to give it a couple more days, literally a couple more days of just getting used to how your controls work. Because once you've mastered your controls, 24 hours later, you can master any DJ gear looking for the same controls. You just got to figure out where they are. Just like when you get into a new car that you haven't driven before, you've got to figure out where the gear shift is. You've got to figure out where the buttons are to get the fog lights on and to, you know, get the wipers going and so on. It's really not what you should be getting hung up on. And unless you're a total beginner, you're better than that. So don't fall down that trap. Right, people, we are done here. Thank you very much to everyone who took part in the prize draw last week. Robert Bugard in the Netherlands and BC Brandon in Canada. You are our winners. This has been your Tuesday Tips Live. We'll be back on Thursday with our usual Thursday Q&A live with me here. Same studio, no agenda. We're just going to open the chat and we'll talk DJing for an hour and I'll help you with anything you're stuck on. Do remember that the mixing for mobile and wedding DJs course, our mixing course, whatever gear you use, whatever software you use, is currently $100 off until Thursday morning. You have 1 hour. One day, 17 hours, 26 minutes and 1 second left to get involved in that. I think we're done. I think we can get out of here. Get good, get out there, make the moments, people. Until next time, bye-bye.